Hi, welcome to this SoStocked demonstration. My name is Anna and I work for SoStocked support team. As you probably already know, SoStocked purpose is to help your business by taking the pain out of inventory management and forecasting. So today I'm going to walk you through how everything works and show you our different features and tools. Please write your name and if you're a current user or not in the chat. If you have any questions, please put them also in the chat. At the end of this demonstration, there is a Q&A where I will answer any questions you have. All right, so the first thing you do when you sign up to SoStocked is to connect your Amazon Seller Center account with SoStocked. It is going to pull any data that it needs to from your seller account. Then the next thing you're going to do is to go through the setup guide right here. So this will walk you through setting up your account and all the features I will be showing you today with a lot of visual tutorials, etc. All right, our landing page is the command center. This is a new feature that helps you focus on critical areas of your business, and it gives you insight into your most vital KPIs and potential inventory issues, such as potential stock out, orders and transfers, upcoming FBA fees that might be avoidable, etc. All right, the next page is the setting page, which I have opened up here. So apart from the initial pool of data that we do, you also have an option to bulk export import any data into SoStocked. That data might be vendors, suppliers, MOQs, units per carton. So you can select which file you like to download. It looks like a sheet like this with different tabs. We also have a tutorial that will take you through how you would download it, put all the data in and upload into SoStocked. Next screen is the vendors page. All right, so here you will have all of your vendors. And by vendors is referring to any supplier, warehouse, prep center, and freight forwarder. If you want to add a vendor, you can click this plus button, add vendor. Select which type of vendor it is. It also could be a combination of each. For example, if your supplier is also a warehouse, you can tick both boxes. And then just fill in the compulsory sections, which is only a couple of them. We have some cool features like supplier blackout date. So this is important if, for example, your supplier is in another country, let's say like in Asia and China, and they have Chinese New Year. So you can put the dates of the national holidays in here, and SoStocked will know, so the forecast won't recommend you to place orders during those dates. You can also put any payment terms in here, and any notes for your supplier over here. And these will be already populated in the purchase orders when you create them in SoStocked. And then click Save Changes. So that's how quickly you will add a new vendor. Next, I will show you this tab up here, which is called lead times. And lead time means the time that it takes from the moment you place an order from your supplier to the moment it arrives to its destination. You might have many lead times depending where your suppliers are or your 3PLs are. You can have a lead time that ends at the warehouse or lead time that ends at FBA. I will show you what one looks like. All of these are different kind of lead times, but we're going to go inside one. So first you would give it a name. You can call supplier to warehouse or China to warehouse, supplier to FBA. Here we show you the total amount of days that this lead time takes to process, and then the breakdown. So we have in production 35 days. You can always select different amount of days. Ocean freight, 30 days, ground freight, 5 days, warehouse and prep center, 2 days, and you can select which warehouse is going to. You can also change the end of this lead time and say you're actually going to send it directly to FBA. That's totally fine. And then you can assign this lead time to a supplier as the default lead time. And as each supplier has products assigned to it, now all of those products will get automatically this lead time. And then click Save Changes. All right, and as I said, you can create as many lead times as you need. Good. Next page is an inventory page. All right. So this page is like a gigantic Excel sheet, but all our columns, which are our points of data, gets updated automatically. So you don't have to input this data into SoStocked. And we have about 100 different columns. So here you can select which columns you like to include in this view. or not include, and you can also change the order, and you can export each view to Excel. If you want to create different views, what we call different dashboards, you can click here and then add as a new dashboard, and then that will be saved in this drop down, or it could be saved as a favorite and it will be a box up here. So it's easy access. When you come into this page, you can just click a box and then that particular view with different groupings of columns and filters will show up. Some of the boxes we have automatically on every account per default. And these are different groupings of columns and filters that we have put together to help highlight specific topics. For example, we have a dashboard called Overstock Fees. So in this dashboard, you'll be able to see all the Amazon storage fees. We have different columns. For example, this one will show you the total monthly FBA storage fees. So you have to pay these ones. But then you also be able to see if you're going to be charged any overstock monthly fees and any age inventory fees. If you hover over the title, it will give you an explanation of what this column means. And also you can hover over the product and the number, and it will give you a breakdown of how much you're going to be paying fees for the next 12 months. So this is very useful because it will highlight which products are slow sellers and which products you're just keeping a lot of stock in Amazon and just paying lots of fees. And then now you can do something about it. Maybe you want to do a removal, or you want to liquidate it, or you want to do a heavy marketing or bundle it with a bestseller. Things like that that will help you locate which products you need to take action so you don't pay a lot of fees. All right, so those are some examples of the reports. Then some of the things and features you can do in this page is you can do some bulk actions. So you can select a group of products and click bulk actions. And you can, for example, update the warehouse inventory levels for those products. You have the products here, and then the different warehouses that you can select, and then just plug in the quantities, click submit, and the data will be populated into SoStocked. You can also assign those products to a new supplier, to a new warehouse. You can also assign a tag, which is a way to create different groupings in SoStocked. So you can have different groupings that have different tags, and you can use tags in the filters. You can search for products with a specific tag, and you have your list of tags, and then click apply, and it will show you just those products. Also, in the next screen, which is the forecast, pretty much every settings in that page, you can save it to different groupings, and one of them is to products with a specific tag. So we're going to go now to the forecast page. All right. So this page, you're able to see all of your products, and you can view this page by supplier. You can also view it by warehouse, brand, marketplace, origin. Over here, we have the velocity section. And what we mean by velocity is the daily sales velocity of each of your products. Now, how we go to these numbers here is because we have selected one of our 3 different velocity calculations. So I will show you each one. All right, the default setting when you start with SoStocked will have the 30-day average selected. So what this means is that this product is selling in average 0.90 units. If you want to include more periods, you just tick the boxes, and those periods will be included also in the equation. If you want to include more weight in specific periods, you can toggle this on. And now let's say that you want to have more weight on the last 2 days of sales, you just give a higher percentage, and then a lower percentage to the other period. All right, the second velocity calculation is a manual velocity. And here you would just plug in a number that you think you're going to be selling daily. This one is particularly useful, for example, when you're launching a new product because you don't have a history of sales yet. Then the next velocity calculation is last year's sales. So in this one, we pull in this column how much this product sold every day last year, and then we mirror it to this year velocity. You can view this daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, once you select which velocity calculation you want to use, you can save and apply it to this product only, or you can save it across all your products, or filter results, or by supplier, brand, marketplace, or tag. Then in this column over here, we show you how many days you have left of stock at Amazon. And when it's red like this, it means that we are forecasting that you're going to have a stock out. There's nothing we can do about it. But we want you to change some settings so you don't stock out again in the future. And sometimes you will see the number in black, and that means that we are not predicting a stock out. All right, so now I'm going to go inside more tools to help us fine-tune the forecast projection. All right, so over here, we show you past sales on Amazon graph, which is the blue line. And then the green line is the future predicted velocity, so the future predicted sales graph. Now, this is a good section. I recommend having a look at this section over here once you have finished setting up everything in SoStocked, all the settings in the forecast specifically, because you really want to have a look in here and see that this graph is really representing what you're predicting to happen sales-wise. All right, then we're gonna go over this section here and what we call calculation variables. 90% of the data here is going to affect your forecast projections, so the data need to be super accurate. I'm gonna take you through each one. The first one is order schedule. So what this means is you're going to set the order frequency from your supplier. You can choose from as needed, to every week, every month, and so on. You can give a starting date if you want. And here we have a recommendation, which is to set a buffer stock. Buffer stock is the same as safety stock, a safe cushion of products. So you will tell the software that when we calculate when to top up at Amazon or at your warehouse, that you don't want to have zero. So the forecast waits until you have zero at FBA for your next order to arrive. But maybe you want to have, let's say, 10 days, 20 days worth of stock left by the time your new order arrives. So in case that you have a change in velocity or sales spike, you always have a safe cushion of products there so you can fulfill those sales until your next order arrives. You can choose between days or units, and then you can set this up for FBA, but also for your warehouse if you have one. And you can also tell us the maximum that you want to send at FBA and at your warehouse. And we will round up orders to your nearest carton for you. The next tool is transfer schedule. So this is the same concept, but now is from the warehouse to FBA. We call transfers. So you can also choose in here what's the transfer frequency that you would like. Next tool is MOQ. So if you have a minimum order quantity from your supplier, you can plug the quantity here per product. Also, if the same amount is for different products, you can save it to different groupings. Or if you have many ASINs and you want to use our bulk templates to update this data, you can. There is a column there for MOQ. Then we have minimal transfer quantity from your warehouse. So if you had a minimum to transfer from warehouse to Amazon, you can plug the data here. Packaging info is really good. So you can tell us how many units fit in a carton, and we will run the up to nearest carton for orders and transfers. Default lead time. So here you can see which lead time the forecast is using for this product. If you want to modify it, you can by clicking in it, or you can choose a different lead time if you wish. Then we have express lead time. So express lead time will be a second lead time per product that, let's say this was ocean. So instead of ocean is you want it to go by air and take less amount of time. So this is our demo account. Let's make this a bit more realistic. Let's say FBA check-in is 3 days. Right, so now this express lead time takes 13 days instead of how many days the default lead time took. Then how the software is going to use this is that whenever we see a necessary, so let's say that you have a drastic change in velocity or you have an unusual sales spike, and we now predict that if we use your default lead time, your order is not going to arrive on time and you're going to have a stock out, we might recommend you to send two shipments. One is going to be by air and the second one is going to be by ocean. And we always do it in an economical way where we just the amounts that you need so you can avoid a stock outs at Amazon. And then we have transfer time. So if your main lead time is if your main lead time goes from supplier to warehouse, Then here in this transfer time section, you will tell us how long does it take from the warehouse to Amazon. It's usually 2 steps, ground freight and FBA check-in days. So you will add those 2 amounts of days. So let's say it was 5 days ground freight and 5 days FBA check-in. We add them all up and then just give us the total here. That's what we know, how long it will take to arrive to FBA from the warehouse. All right, and then we have some more tools over here. We have a trend tool. So if you toggle this on, now you can see a trend on how this product is behaving compared to the previous period. You can choose the periods here. And this gives you a snapshot on how is it doing. If you want to apply this percentage on top of the current velocity, you can. Just need to click Save and Apply. And then we have Sales Spike tool. So what this tool does is anytime your daily sales spike to 150% your average sales for the period, your sales spikes will be listed in here. So these are the sales spikes in dark black. And you can choose to include or exclude this data in your forecasting, and your projection will be adjusted accordingly. So if we exclude these sales spikes and we replace it with an average of what you previously sold, it will give a more realistic velocity calculation, and it will avoid inflating that number. Then we have deep discount sales. So any promotional code discount or Amazon sale of 30% or more are considered deep discounts, and they're going to be listed in here. We don't have any with this product, but they will be listed in here, pretty similar like the previous tool I just showed you. And then you can decide if you want to include the discounts in the velocity calculation or not. And then we have the stockout tool. This tool we highly recommend having on at all times. So we consider a stockout when you have 0 inventory and your average daily sales falls below 30%. You can always modify this percentage if you wish. So anytime you run out of stock, you can choose to include or exclude that data in your forecast. So over here is on, so you can see all these days that there was stock outs. Also, yeah, just a stock outs, there was no stock. So we're going to basically exclude them from the velocity calculation, and we'll avoid watering down that number. All right, then we have include MCS sales. So this will be like any sales that you do on platforms that are not Amazon, but you use FBA to fulfill those orders. Those sales are automatically included in the velocity calculation. And then we have additional sales growth. So let's say that you want to add a percentage on top of the velocity number. You can use this tool for that, add 5%, 10%, 20%, whichever percent you want, and we'll add it to each day going forward. And then down here, we have 2 more tools. We have future lightning deals. So let's say you plan to have a deal, say Prime Day, Mother's Day, and so on. You can give us the day range for the deal, how many units you plan to sell. And then you can click the plus button, add many more deals. And this will be good, so then the forecast can then recalculate once you save this and knows that you need to order enough units to have them ready for those deals. All right, and last tool here is seasonal spike tool. So if your product is seasonal, you want to use this tool, and there's 2 versions of this tool. The first one is manually, and what this means is that you manually will select a day range, give it a name, let's say Q4, and a percentage increase. So how much your sales increase during those dates? You will say maybe 60%. So over here, we show you how much is this product selling daily in average and how many units we're going to add for this percentage. Then you can have it repeated every year, and you can add many more seasonal spikes. And you can also create negative ones. Maybe there's a period of the year when you sell less than the average. It will be good for us to know, so we can deduct units instead of adding them. All right, this is quite manual. So let's say that you have a last year historical seasonality that you want to mirror to this year. Then you will toggle this on, and this will pick up all the ups and downs that this product had last year based on the average of what this product sold. And it's plotted here in percentages. So if you're happy with this graph and you say, yes, this product should behave this way in December peaks and not so much the rest of the year, for example, then you can go ahead and save and apply, and we will apply it using the current velocity. So we'll apply these percentages on top of the current velocity. You can also copy the seasonality from another product if you want. and from other marketplaces as well. And you can view these weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly. All right. And then I will show you the inventory timeline here on the right. So here we have the dates going forward, the velocity for this product, how much inventory there is FBA. Take FBA action will be if you have an inventory at the warehouse, what you need to transfer to Amazon, how much inventory is at the warehouse with any shipments are arriving. And then over here, you'll be able to see any purchase orders recommendations. So over here, we have a transfer recommendation of 50 units from the warehouse, and that should arrive February 2nd, because we're not using a lead time of 93 days to arrive from the warehouse to FBA. So if we go to February 2nd, excuse me, here you see these units arriving and topping up at FBA, and then they start making sales again. All right. And then for the orders and transfer recommendations, we have these squares here. So the dark blue ones are orders with the date recommendation and the unit. And then the blue ones are transfers with the date and the units. If you click on this, it will take you directly to create a purchase order. And in this one, will take you to create a what we call a work order. It's the same as transfer order. It's just a communication to the warehouse. And we call it work order because we make the warehouse work. All right, so let's say that you want to create a PO that includes multiple order recommendations. So you can do that per supplier by clicking this order all button. And again, it will take you to create a purchase order, and it will include all of these products in it. All right, and I'm going to show you our last page, which is the order tracker. Okay, so we created the order tracker so you can have everything in one place. That will be your purchase orders, your transfer orders, and FBA shipments. So over here, we have these columns in production, en route, warehouse and prep center, and FBA check-in. And this mirror the steps on your lead time. So when you create a purchase order, it will be represented as a card like this one. And it will sit here for the duration that you set in the lead time. So if, let's say you said it takes 30 days to produce, it will sit here for 30 days. And after that, it will move automatically to the next step on the lead time, so en route, until it arrives to its destination. You can also select if you would like to move it manually, you can. And also what is really good is that you can mark a shipment delay. So let's say that your supplier informs you that's actually been delayed in production and it's going to take longer. You can give a new ETA or add more days and say it's going to be delayed by a certain amount. All right. And any FBA shipments that you create in Amazon, they will populate in here. So you can match them up with any purchase order or transfer orders that you previously created in SoStocked. Any purchase orders that you start working on, but you haven't submitted, they will sit here in the PO draft column. All right, so that's everything for this demo. We actually have a very cool help center where we have a SoStocked mini course, and we highly recommend checking it out once you sign up to SoStocked, as it will have tutorials for pretty much everything I went over today, but goes more in depth on how to use it with many different options, as SoStocked is very versatile. We also have a 30-day free trial. So I will pop the link to the free trial on the chat, and you can check it out. And I highly recommend that you sign up, get your account connected, and then book an onboarding call. You get 45 minutes of Zoom calls with me and my colleague where we set up the account with you on video, and you get a chance to, ask any questions and so on, and we help you. If you need multiple calls, you can also book them as well. All right, good. So now you can ask any questions that you have, but this is everything for the demo. All right, bye.